Welcome to Disneyland, where magic hides around every corner and sometimes under your feet. Did you know that Disneyland has its very own leprechaun? That's right, tucked away in Adventureland is a secret many park-goers walk right past. Today we're uncovering the charming tale of the Little Man of Disneyland, a tiny character from a 1955 storybook who became a part of the park's lore. We'll explore the historical background of the original Little Golden Book and how this leprechaun story ties into the construction of Disneyland. Now let's shrink down to the size of a leprechaun and step back in time to where the story begins. Walt Disney's Little Man of Disneyland was first published in 1955 as part of the Little Golden Book series, coinciding with Disneyland's grand opening. It was written by Disney storyteller Jane Werner under the pen name Annie North Bedford and illustrated by artist Dick Kelsey, who was actually one of Disneyland's original designers. This charming book wasn't just any fairy tale, it was created to promote Walt's brand new park to children, blending fantasy with the real-life wonder of Disneyland. Imagine Anaheim, California in early 1955. Acres of peaceful orange groves basking in the sun. Living in one of those orange trees is a leprechaun named Patrick Begorra, the titular Little Man of Disneyland. One morning, Patrick's quiet life is disrupted by some unexpected visitors. Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Pluto, and Goofy come trampling through the groves with arms full of tools and rolled up blueprints. Patrick, pipe in hand, is astonished and a bit annoyed. He demands to know what these big people are up to on his land. After all, he's quite fond of his tranquil home and isn't eager to give it up. Mickey and friends explain they're building something truly special, a wonderful place called Disneyland with all sorts of marvelous things for fun. Patrick isn't convinced so easily. To win over the wary leprechaun, the gang whisks Patrick off on a helicopter ride to see Walt Disney's plans firsthand. Fun fact, Walt Disney often commuted to the construction site by helicopter, just like in the story. They fly Patrick off to the Disney Studios in Burbank and show him detailed blueprints, drawings, and concept art for Disneyland. Wide-eyed at the fantasy unfolding before him, Patrick's grumpiness fades away. He gives his blessing for Disneyland to be built, but on one condition. When the park is finished, he wants a cozy little home inside, tucked away somewhere quiet where he won't be disturbed. Mickey agrees and the construction goes ahead. As Disneyland rises from the orange groves, Patrick packs up his tiny belongings. In the story, he notes with a sigh that he might be the last leprechaun in Anaheim, as many of his kin have moved on. But he's about to have a brand new magical home. On Disneyland's opening day, Patrick moves to a wee snug house just built for him, hidden in the roots of an old tree in the park, and there he happily remains, becoming the first and smallest resident of Disneyland. This delightful tale blended fiction and reality. It explained to kids how Disneyland came to be, but with a little bit of leprechaun magic in the mix. Little did anyone know, Patrick Begorra would become a quiet legend in Disney lore for decades to come. The story of the Little Man of Disneyland may have been make-believe, but it was rooted in real Disneyland history. Walt's team really did build Disneyland on what used to be orange groves in Anaheim, California, just like in the story. In fact, one of the original trees from those groves still stands in the park today, a towering Canary Island palm known as the Dominguez palm, planted in 1896. When Walt Disney purchased the land, he promised to spare that beloved palm tree as a condition of the sale. True to his word, Walt had the tree carefully moved to Adventureland, where it was still grown next to the Jungle Cruise to this very day, a living link to a time before Disneyland. It's poetic that Patrick Begorra's fictional home ends up in Adventureland as well, among the last remnants of the old groves. For years after 1955, the Little Golden Book remained a fond memory for Disney fans. Parents read The Little Man of Disneyland to their children, and those kids would arrive at the park wondering if Patrick's tiny home was really hidden somewhere. In fact, some early Disneyland visitors did scour Adventureland in hopes of finding a leprechaun's door. Disney lore around Patrick Begorra grew quietly. He was a little secret passed along by those who loved the book. book. Patrick even gained an honorary title as resident of Disneyland. After all, he did help Walt build the park, at least in the story, so he surely deserved a home within it. Eventually, Disney Imagineers decided to make that storybook fantasy into a real-life Easter egg. In the mid-1950s, the book was so popular that a teeny tiny leprechaun house was actually built within Disneyland, tucked near a tree in the Jungle Cruise dock, as a nod to Patrick Begorra. However, as the years passed and the park evolved, this little tribute was lost to the construction and renovations within Adventureland. For a while, Patrick's house vanished from the Disneyland landscape, and the little man became even more of an obscure piece of Disney trivia. Fast forward to 2015, Disneyland's 60th anniversary. Disney not only reprinted the original Little Golden Book, but they also restored Patrick Begorra's home within the park itself. The timing was perfect. Fans were celebrating 60 years of the park's history, and this charming storybook character was welcomed back as part of the festivities. A brand new little leprechaun house was built at the base of a tree right near the entrance of Indiana Jones Adventure. At long last, Patrick's secret house was officially on display again, and in a place that only those in the know would really know where to go to find it. Today, a tiny wooden door and some miniature windows peek out from a gnarled tree roots on a tree in Adventureland. It's easy to miss unless you're looking carefully. It is right near the Indiana Jones entrance, close to the ground. This little leprechaun lair is one of Disneyland's most delightful hidden gems. Park staff have even been known to decorate it for different holidays. You can see it decorated for St. Patrick's Day with a rainbow and pot of gold, and even for Halloween. Imagine walking by and noticing a tiny shamrock wreath on a tree trunk. That's that kind of Disneyland detail that they love to sprinkle around. The next time you're in Adventureland, step off to the side by Indiana Jones and look down. You just might find yourself greeting the little man of Disneyland. Patrick Begorra's home is one of my personal favorite Easter eggs to point out to people whenever I take a trip over to Disneyland. I remember one time going, and I was sitting by the entrance of Indiana Jones Adventure, and there was a family there that was looking just what to do next, and I pointed out to them the home of the little man of Disneyland, and the look on the children's eyes of the wonder of this tiny little detail outside of all the big exciting rides and other things you could do at Disneyland. This tiny little piece brought that little bit of extra magic to them, and that is what Disneyland is all about, bringing those magical moments to families and people of all ages. Thank you for coming on this little adventure with us. If you learned something new or just enjoyed the journey, remember to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into Disney history and park secrets. Do you have a favorite Disneyland hidden detail? And have you ever spotted Patrick Begorra's house in Adventureland yourself? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, may your days be as magical as a leprechaun's rainbow, and keep exploring. There's always more to discover at the happiest place on Earth. See you real soon.